first thing I saw when I opened my eyes was my best friend sitting on the edge of my bed in my hoodie, quietly crying. Not hungover crying. Not drunk crying. The kind of crying people do when they already know something is about to destroy their life. And when she looked up at me and whispered, "Please don't hate me after today," I knew something was seriously wrong. My head was pounding so hard I could barely sit up. The room smelled like alcohol, perfume, and cold morning air drifting through the cracked apartment window. My blanket was half on the floor. Someone had left the kitchen light on. And Emily, my best friend since sophomore year, was sitting there in my oversized dark hoodie with her knees pulled to her chest like she was trying to disappear inside it. I rubbed my face hard. "What happened last night?" The second I asked, she looked away. That scared me more than anything, because Emily never avoided eye contact with me. Not once in 6 years. "We got home around 2, she said quietly. "You carried me upstairs because I could barely walk." Bits of memory came back slowly. The party. Emily dancing on the kitchen counter while everyone screamed lyrics around her. Some random guy grabbing her waist too aggressively. Me pulling him away before things got ugly. Then her crying in the Uber for absolutely no reason. Or at least, no reason she would tell me. "You threw up in my sink," I muttered. She laughed softly through tears. Yeah, I should have laughed too. But something felt off. Terribly off. Then I noticed her phone sitting on my nightstand. Face down. Cracked screen. 37 missed calls. All from one person. Ryan. Her boyfriend. My stomach tightened instantly. "Why's Ryan calling you 37 times? Emily froze. Actually froze. Like her body forgot how to move. Then she whispered something so quietly I almost didn't hear it. "He saw us." A cold feeling crawled up my spine. "Saw what?" Her eyes finally met mine. "He saw you carrying me upstairs." I blinked. "That's it." She nodded slowly, but her expression didn't change. No relief. No comfort. Just guilt. Heavy guilt. Then my phone buzzed beside me. Unknown number. The second I answered, a man screamed into my ear. "You think you're a hero, Jake?" "Ryan." He sounded insane. Actually insane. "You've been sleeping with her behind my back this whole time." "What?" Emily immediately covered her face. Ryan kept yelling. "She finally told me everything." I stared at her in confusion. Everything? What the hell did that mean? "Ryan, listen to me. She cried in my apartment for an hour last night because she's in love with you." Silence. Complete silence. I looked at Emily, and she couldn't even look at me anymore. Ryan hung up. My chest felt hollow. Emily's breathing became shaky. Then she finally whispered the words that changed everything. I didn't mean to tell him. I couldn't process what I was hearing. "You're in love with me?" She started crying harder immediately. I tried not to be. That sentence hit harder than I expected. Because suddenly, 6 years of memories started rearranging themselves in my head. Every canceled date she pretended not to care about. Every guy she hated for no reason. Every late-night call. Every time she said, "You deserve better than her." Every moment she stayed. I sat there speechless while she wiped tears with the sleeves of my hoodie. "I swear I never wanted to ruin our friendship," she whispered. I just couldn't keep lying anymore. Part of me wanted to comfort her instantly. The other part was terrified, because I had spent years convincing myself Emily was just my best friend. And now I wasn't sure if I'd been lying too. Then she said something that made my stomach drop. "Ryan hit the wall beside my head last night." I looked at her immediately. "What?" "He grabbed my arm when we got home." Her voice cracked. "That's why I called you to pick me up." Anger exploded through me so fast it almost made me dizzy. "That son of a..." "He's outside." Everything stopped. "What?" Emily looked toward the apartment window. "He's been outside since 6 this morning." I rushed to the blinds. Black SUV parked across the street. Ryan inside, watching the building. My pulse spiked instantly. "You should have told me sooner. I didn't want you involved." "He already involved me." Right as I said it, my phone buzzed again. This time it was a photo. A picture of my apartment building, taken from outside. Then another text arrived. "Come downstairs alone." Emily's face went pale. "Don't go." But I was already angry enough to shake. I threw on sweatpants and headed for the door. Emily grabbed my wrist hard. "Jake, please." There was genuine fear in her eyes. Not fear for herself. Fear for me. That's when I realized this wasn't about jealousy anymore. Ryan was unstable, and Emily had been hiding how bad things really were. I looked down at her hand holding my wrist. Small, shaking, desperate, and suddenly all I could think was, how long had she been dealing with this alone? I went downstairs anyway. Ryan was leaning against his SUV when I stepped outside. The second he saw me, he smiled. Not a normal smile. The kind that makes your instincts scream. She finally picked you, he said. She didn't pick anybody. She told me she loves you. I stepped closer. You scared her. His jaw tightened instantly. You think you know her better than me? I know you don't punch walls next to people you love. For a second, I thought he was actually going to hit me. But instead, he laughed bitterly. You really don't get it, do you? What? She's loved you for years. You just liked having her around. That one landed harder than I expected. Because maybe there was truth in it. Maybe I had leaned on Emily emotionally for years without realizing what it was doing to her. Ryan shook his head. You know what the worst part is? She still looks at you like you hung the moon. I didn't answer, because I suddenly remembered every moment she showed up for me when nobody else did. When my dad left. When my ex cheated. When I lost my job. Emily was there for all of it. Always. And I had never once stopped to ask what she needed. Ryan got back in his SUV. Before closing the door, he looked at me one last time. If you don't love her, leave her alone this time. Then he drove away. I stood there in silence for a long moment, because for the first time in years, I had to admit something terrifying to myself. The idea of losing Emily hurt more than anything else ever had. I went back upstairs slowly. She was still sitting on my bed in my hoodie exactly where I left her, like she was waiting for a verdict. The second she looked at me, she whispered, I'm sorry. I walked toward her carefully, then sat beside her. You should have told me. I was scared. Of what? That if I said it out loud. Her voice broke. I'd lose you forever. God, that destroyed me. Because the truth was, I suddenly couldn't remember a version of my life that made sense without her in it. I looked at her swollen eyes, her messy hair, my hoodie hanging off her shoulders, and something inside me finally gave up fighting reality. I touched her hand gently. You idiot. She blinked through tears. What? You fell in love with me. A tiny nervous smile appeared on her face. Yeah. I laughed quietly, then shook my head. Could have just told me sooner. Her expression changed instantly. Confused, hopeful, terrified. Wait. I pulled her closer before I could overthink it. And the second I kissed her, she started crying again. Not sad crying this time. Relief. Years of relief. Like she'd been holding her breath for too long. When we finally pulled apart, she rested her forehead against mine and whispered, I thought I ruined everything. I smiled softly. No. Then I looked at the oversized hoodie swallowing her whole and laughed quietly. You kinda stole my hoodie though. She smiled through tears. I know. And somehow, that felt like the beginning of the rest of my life. Because sometimes the person who loves you most has been standing beside you the entire time, waiting for you to finally notice. If the story hit you emotionally, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment what you would have done in Jake's situation.